Hi guys, so welcome to today's video on averages and weighted averages. Before we continue with this video, please like this video, share it amongst your friends who are preparing for CAT and also looking at how to simplify this topic and understand the different types of questions which have been appearing in CAT over the last few years, as well as to understand how to attack those questions in a very simplified manner. So why is this topic very important? Because if you observe over the last 5 years of time, at least one question has been coming up from averages and weighted averages. Now, more than that, the most important point in this topic is it is only one single formula. Now, what do we look at in averages? In averages, we talk about the formula for average is equal to sum of all the observations divided by number of observations. Point number one. Or when we cross multiply, we know that sum of all the observations is equal to number of terms into the average. So this is the standard formula that we target in this chapter of averages, and most of the questions we should be targeting the sum of all the terms. So we should be very handy looking at number of terms into average will be the sum of the terms. Now what is weighted average? Weighted average is the process of calculating average of more than one group. So if I talk about weighted average, whenever we have more than one group and we calculate average, we use weighted average. Now, the formula for weighted average would be nothing but N1 into A1 plus N2 into A2 and so on, divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3 and so on. So this becomes the formula for weighted averages. Right. So why will we be looking at this topic as a very important topic is without knowing the shortcuts also, every student will be able to solve any question given from this topic by using these two formulas. So what am I bringing in today's video? In today's video, I have grouped all the previous 5-year questions which are concept wise. Right, so we'll be discussing the concepts along with the questions. So stay tuned till the end of the video. At the same time, I'll also be giving you some tips and tricks, like the shortcut tips and tricks to attack the questions. But having said that, even if you're not able to pick up the shortcut tips and tricks, this topic becomes important because with the help of a simple formula, you should be able to crack almost all the questions coming up from this chapter. Right? So this is a must-do topic because we can easily grab 3 marks for ourselves without knowing any additional shortcuts. We can apply the basic formula, be good at calculations and get our final answers. So let's look at the first question today. Now the question says Manu earns ₹4,000 a month, okay, and wants to save an average of 550 rupees per month in a year. Now 550 rupees per month, that means the target savings. So what are the target savings? Target savings is 550 rupees a month for the whole year, that is into 12. So 12 into 500 is 6,000. 12 into 50 is 600. So the target savings for the whole year is 6,600 rupees. Now what is the question talking about? In the first 9 months, his monthly expenses were 3,500. So out of 4,000, this person has spent 3,500. That means savings for the first 9 months is nothing but 500 rupees per month into 9 months, which will give us how much, guys? 4,500 rupees. Right? From the 10th month onward, his monthly expense will increase to 3,700. Okay? In order to meet his yearly savings target, his monthly earnings in rupees from the 10th month onward should be how much, right? So let's try to understand. To meet the yearly savings target, the person or Manu has to save 2,100 rupees in 3 months. So per month becomes 2,100 by 3. That means this person has to save 700 rupees per month to achieve the target, right? At the same time, I'm told that the expenses per month would be 3,700 rupees per month will be the expenses. So I know that the income would be nothing but expenses plus savings, which is going to be 3,700 plus 700, and therefore this person has to earn 4,400 rupees a month, which is option B, from the 10th month onwards to ensure that the savings target has been achieved. So very simple question which had come in CAT 22 slot 2. We should not have missed out on this question. It does not even apply the basics of anything. Only thing that we are looking at is average into number of months is equal to sum total. And that's what I mean. Subconsciously, this formula is what we use in our daily life. So if the question is using the term called average and we are given the number of terms, we can multiply them and get the value of sum total here. Right? Now let's look at this question. Now the question says Dick is thrice as old as Tom. Now whenever I see these kind of statements, I can directly write the ratio of Dick to Tom is equal to 3:1. And I'm told that Harry is twice as old as Dick. So that means the ratio of Harry is to Dick is equal to 2:1. Now I have d by t and I have h by d. So d is the repeated term. Now to merge these two ratios, I need to make the repeated term constant or the same. So if this is 3, I need to make this value also as 3. To make this value of d as 3, I multiply by 3 here. I multiply by 3 here. So I finally get the ratio of d is to h is to t as 3 is to 6 is to 1. Or we can assume the values to be 3x, 6x and x. Now what does the question says? That D's age is 1 year less than the average age of all the three. Now what is D's age? So D's age is 3x, which is 1 year less than the average of all the three. Now the average of all the three is 3x plus 6x plus x divided by 3. So if I simplify the calculation here, this becomes 3x is equal to 10x minus 3 by 3. Or when we cross multiply, we get 9x is equal to 10x minus 3. Or eventually when we transpose, we get the value of x is equal to 3. Which means D's age becomes 3 into 3, that is 9. Harry's age becomes 6 into 3, that is 18. And Tom's age becomes x, that is equal to 3. Now what is the question asking us? Find the age of Harry. So the age of Harry is going to be 18 and that is going to be our required answer. Again, a very easy question coming up from the topic of averages. Right? Now let's look at this question here. Now I'm told the average of 3 integers is 13. Now 3 is the number of terms and 13 is the average. So whenever I have this, I can say that the sum of the 3 integers is equal to 3 into 13, which is equal to 39. Let me write this as a plus b plus c. Now when a natural number n is also included, then the average of 4 integers, how do I calculate the average of 4 integers? That is a plus b plus c plus n divided by 4. And I'm told that this value should be an odd integer. And I'm asked find the minimum possible value of n. So what do I have here? I already have the value of a plus b plus c. That is 39. So in short, I'm looking at 39 plus n divided by 4 should be an odd integer. So 39, so a multiple of 4 greater than 39 and it should be also an odd multiple of 4. So if you are good at calculation, I know that 4 into 11 gives me 44. That means if the numerator is 44, that means if the value of n is equal to 5, 39 plus 5 is 44, 44 by 4 is equal to 11 and 11 is going to be nothing but your odd integer. Right? So the minimum possible value of n that we can assume is equal to 5 and therefore our answer is going to be option C. Right? Again a simple question bases the basic formula of averages and the sum total. Right? Now let's look at the next question. Now I'm told that a, b and c be positive integers such that the sum of a and the mean of b plus c. Now you need to understand that mean is synonymous with a term called average. Mean is nothing but the average. So I'm told that a plus the average of b and c, that is b plus c divided by 2. Now this is equal to 5. So when I take an LCM, this becomes 2a plus b plus c divided by 2 is equal to 5. Or in short, we have 2a plus b plus c is equal to 10. In addition, the sum of b and the mean of a and c, that means I'm talking about a plus c divided by 2. Now this is equal to 7. Again when we take the LCM, this becomes 2b plus a plus c by 2 is equal to 7. Or we have a plus 2b plus c is equal to 14. Now let's subtract equation 2 with equation 1. So what do we get from here? So 2b minus b will give you b, and this will give you minus a. So we have a minus a plus b, c will get cancelled, which is equal to 4. Or we have the value of b is equal to a plus 4. And what is the other hint given to us? The other hint given to us is all these three are positive integers. So let's start with a, b and c first. Right? So the minimum positive value positive integer I can think of is 1. So if a is equal to 1, b is equal to 5. Now let's replace. If a is equal to 1, that is 2 1s are 2 plus 5 is 7. So therefore the value of c has to be 3. Now does this satisfy my second equation? 1, 2 5s are 10. So this is 1 plus 10 plus 3 is equal to 14. So this value is satisfying our answer. Can I take the value of a is equal to 2? Let's see. If I take the value of a is equal to 2 and the value of b becomes 6. Clear? So if you observe in the second equation, the value of c has to be 0. And 0 is not a positive integer. At the same time, if I increase the value of a, b will also further increase, and from here we will be getting the negative values of c. But I'm clearly told that a, b, c are positive integers. That means no other combination satisfies except the combination of 1, 5, 3. Now what is the question asking us? The question is asking us the sum of a and b. So the sum of a and b is 1 plus 5, that is equal to 6 becomes the value of the sum of a and b from here. Clear? So again another question using the basic of the word called averages. Now let's take on one more question coming up from slot 3. Consider 6 distinct natural numbers. 6 distinct natural numbers, that means all of them are different. The average of two smallest is equal to 14. So let me assume two smallest numbers are a plus b. So a plus b by 2 is equal to 14, or in short from here we get the value of a plus b is equal to 14 2s are 28. Right? So let me assume my 6 numbers in ascending order are a, b, c, d and e and f. So a plus b we have is 28. Now two largest numbers, that is e plus f. So e plus f by 2 is equal to 28, or this will give me the value of e plus f is equal to 28 into 2, that is equal to 56. I want to maximize the average of all the 6 numbers. Now let us understand. So I have a, I have b, I have c, d, e and f. So these two I know is 28, and these two are also fixed. That means I know these two are equal to 56. Now I need to maximize the average, right? Now if I have to maximize my average, that means c and d have to be maximum possible. Now if I'm arranging them in ascending order, if c and d have to be maximum, I need to maximize the value of e also. Now e and f is equal to 56. If I need to maximize the value of e, one concept says 28 plus 28 is equal to 56. That is the maximum value e can take, but I'm told these are distinct natural numbers. So what I can do is, I can assume the maximum value of e is equal to 27. How do you get this here? Let's try to understand. Now understand here, if e plus f is equal to 56, okay? So e can be 1, f can be 57, f can be 55, e can be 2, f can be 54, e can be 3, f can be 53, and so on, so on, so on. We will go up till 28 plus 28 is equal to 56, assuming that e is the smaller number and f is the larger number. Clear? So this becomes the maximum value, but as per the condition given in the question, they are distinct natural numbers. So the maximum possible value of e becomes 27, and therefore f will be 29. Now why did we maximize e? Because then d also will become maximum. So the maximum value of d can be 26. And since c is a distinct natural number, so the maximum value of c will be 25. And the sum of these two is equal to 28. We can arrange any number here. Clear? So this becomes a maximum value of c plus d, which will in a way maximize a plus b plus c plus d plus e plus f, and this will also in a way maximize the average of all the 6 numbers, right? So what is the sum here? So 25 plus 6, so this sum becomes 51, This sum I know is 56. So 51 plus 56 is equal to 107. 107 plus 28 will give you 135. Now 135 divided by 6, that becomes 6 2s are 12. Again a 15. 6 22.5s. So therefore the maximum possible average of all these numbers would be 22.5. So all we need to understand is, if these are in ascending order, to maximize the value of D, I need to also see that the maximum value of E there, and then accordingly get my final answer. And therefore this becomes the final answer, that is 22.5. Now let's look at this question. I'm told that the average of 30 integers is 5. Now I'm given the number of integers, I'm given the average. So what can we calculate, guys? We can calculate the sum total of 30 integers is equal to average into number of terms. That is equal to 150. Now I'm told that among these 30 integers, there are exactly 20 which do not exceed 5. So exactly 20 are less than 5. Clear? Which means there are 10 integers which are greater than 5. So the sum of 30 can be broken as sum of 20 numbers plus the sum of the last 10 numbers, which should be equal to 150. Now on the highest possible average of 20 numbers, if I want to maximize this, I want to minimize this. And when this sum should be equal to 150. Now these 10 integers are greater than 5 and I want to minimize them. So let me assume that each of them can be a minimum value of 6 here. So this average becomes 6, which means 10 into 6, the minimum value of some of these 10 numbers will become 60. 60 plus something is equal to 150. So therefore this value here becomes nothing but 90. The sum of 20 numbers is equal to 90. If sum of 20 numbers is equal to 90, I know that average can be calculated as sum total by number of observations. That is 90 divided by 20, and 90 divided by 20 is equal to 4.5, and therefore the maximum possible average of these 20 integers would be 4.5. Clear, guys? So this is less than or equal to 5 and this is greater than 5. Do not exceed 5 will be less than or equal to 5. Clear? So if 20 numbers, exactly 20 numbers are less than or equal to 5, then we have to understand that the remaining 10 numbers have to be greater than 5. And that should be the basis in which we calculate this question. Clear? Now let's look at this question, guys. I'm told that the arithmetic mean of 25 students is 50. Again, I'm already told that number of students is 25 and the average is equal to 50. So I can calculate the sum total of 25 students is equal to 25 into 50, that is equal to 1250. Clear? Now 5 of these top students had the same score. That means I had some 20 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, 20. And then the top students, so 5 of these top students had X. So sum of these 25 would be nothing but sum of these 20 plus sum of these 5. Now this should be equal to 1250. Right? Now I'm told that if the scores of the other students are distinct integers with the lowest being 30, then find the maximum possible score of the toppers. Okay. Now that means I want to minimize the sum of these 20 integers and I want to maximize the value of sum of the top 5 students. The lowest being 30. And these are distinct integers. So the second smallest number we can think of is 31. This becomes 32. This becomes 33 and so on. This goes up to 49. Clear? So these can be termed as a series in arithmetic progression. So you can calculate the sum as n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d plus 5x should be equal to 1250. So this goes with 2 1s are 2 10s. This is 60 plus 19 is 79. So this becomes 790 plus 5x is equal to 1250, or we eventually get the value of 5x is equal to 1250 minus 790. And that will give me the value of 5x is equal to 460. If the value of 5x is equal to 460, that eventually I am calculating the value of x. So therefore the value of x will be 460 divided by 5, which will give us 92 is the maximum possible score of the toppers with the given condition in the examination. So whatever we are seeing that a lot of questions are coming up on the basis of maximum and minimum, but the conditions are simple. So if you understand the concept that sum of two numbers is constant, if one part has to be minimized, then the other part has to be maximized, or vice versa. Clear? Let's move to the next question here. Now I'm told that a batsman played n plus 2 innings and got out on all the occasions. So I have n plus 2 innings. His average score in these n plus 2 innings was 29 runs. Okay. So average was 29. That means I can multiply this and this becomes the sum total. So the sum total is equal to n plus 2 into 29. And I'm told that he scored 38 and 15 in the last two innings. Okay. So I do not know the average of the remaining 10 innings, right? Because if I have sum of n plus 2, the sum of n plus 2 can be broken as sum of n terms plus the sum of 2 terms, that is 38 plus 15. Now let me assume that in n innings the average was A. Clear? So sum total here becomes NA plus 38 plus 15. This is the sum total, which is equal to the sum total of n plus 2 innings, that is going to be n plus 2 into 29. Clear? Now, if you read the question, the batsman scored less than 38 runs in each of the first 10 innings. In these 10 innings, his average is 30. Wow. So I'm already having the value of A. So value of A is equal to 30. So let's replace this A 30 here. So this becomes 30n plus 53 is equal to 29n plus 58. Or when we transpose the values, we get the value of n is equal to 5. That means he has only played 5 innings in the first case. Now, none of these 5 innings he scored, or in all the 5 innings he scored less than 38. So he has a lowest score, that is x. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 5 innings, and I know that the average of these 5 innings is 30. So sum of these 5 innings will become 5 into 30, which is equal to 150. Clear? I want the smallest possible value of x. Again, understand, if I need to minimize this value, I need to maximize all these values. And since I'm told that the batsman scored less than 38 in these 4 innings, which means the maximum value that he can score is 37 in each of the innings. So this is 37, 37, 37, 37, because there's no condition that he had distinct scores, right? So I can assume 37 in each innings. That means I have now 37 into 4 plus x is equal to 150. Now 37 into 4 is 148 plus x is equal to 150, or the value of x is equal to 150 minus 148, which is equal to 2 in this case, and that becomes our final answer. Clear, guys? So that is how we solve this question in a very simplified manner, and that is how we get our required answer. So let's move to the next question. Now I'm told that a candidate appeared for a certain number of tests. So let me assume that the total number of tests be equal to n. His average score increases by 1 if the first 10 tests are not included, and decreases by 1 if the last 10 scores are not included. And I'm told that the average of the first 10 and the last 10 are 20 and 30 respectively, then find the total number of tests taken by him. Now since I'm not given the average, let me assume average is equal to A. So therefore I know that sum total becomes NA. This is sum total of n innings. Okay, now first 10, the sum total becomes average into number of terms, that is equal to 200, and the last 10 here average is 30, so 10 into 30 becomes 300. Now what is the question talking about? If first 10 tests are not considered, if I don't consider first 10 tests, that means sum of n terms minus sum of first n terms, then the average increases by 1. This should be now how many numbers are there? The number of tests now will become n minus 10, because out of n 10 are not considered, and the average now becomes a minus 1, sorry, a plus 1. So if I simplify this, what do we get? Sum of n terms is na plus sum of first 10, sorry, minus sum of first 10 tests, that is minus 200, is equal to na plus n minus 10a minus 10. So we know that this na and this na gets cancelled. So we have a minus 200 is equal to plus n minus 10a minus 10. Okay. Now similarly, sum of first 10, if the last 10 innings or 10 scores are not considered, that means sum of last 10 tests will now become n minus 10. Even now out of n, 10 tests are not considered, and now the average will reduce by 1. So if I replace this as 300, so what do we have here? This is na minus 300 is equal to na. We have a minus n. We again have a minus 10a, and then we have a plus 10. Again na gets cancelled. Now let's equate these two. Okay. So if I need to equate, now understand we need the value of n, so we don't need the value of a. So let's change the sign. So this becomes plus, this also becomes plus, this also becomes plus, and this becomes minus. So plus 10a minus 10a gets cancelled. So we have a plus 100 is equal to 2n minus 20. Clear? Or what do we have here? We have 120 is equal to 2n, or we get the value of n is equal to 120 by 2, that is equal to 60. So therefore how many tests are taken by him? He has taken 60 tests. So you can see that even a seemingly difficult question where nothing is given, I'm not given n, I'm not given a, right? Some random information is given. When nothing is given, we can still get our final answer by using the basic concept of averages, and that is why I'm telling you that this topic becomes very important for the CAT exam. For one reason, we can score very easily. Clear? Now let's move to the next question here. Now I'm told that suppose hospital A admitted 21 less COVID patients than hospital B, and all eventually recovered. Okay. The sum of recovery days in hospital A and hospital B were 200 and 152. If the average recovery days of patients admitted in hospital A was 3 more than the average in hospital B. So average of A is equal to 3 more than the average of B. And I must find the total number of patients admitted in hospital A. Now, so how do I calculate the average? The average will be sum of recovery days divided by number of patients. Clear? Right? Now, since I'm asked the value of A, let me assume that the number of people in A are X. So number of people in B will be X plus 21. If A is 21 less than B, I can say that B is 21 more than A. Clear? And I'm already given that the sum of recovery days here was 200 and the sum of recovery days given here was 152. So therefore, if I apply in the formula, what do I have here? I eventually have 200 by x is equal to 152 by x plus 10 plus 3. So I simplify my terms. What do we get from here? So we get 200 by x minus 152 by x plus 10 is equal to 3. So we take the LCM of x into x plus 10. So this becomes 200x plus 2000 minus 152x is equal to 3. And this finally results to 48x plus, sorry, this is x plus 21, my bad. So 21 into, one second guys, 21 into 200 is 4200. This is the only change. So 48x plus 4200 is equal to 3 into x square plus 21x. So we can cancel with 3 here, 3 16s are and 3 1400s are. So if I transpose, I get my final equation as x square plus 5x minus 1400 is equal to 0. Clear? So let's solve this equation here. So we have x square plus 5x minus 1400 is equal to 0, and 1400 is 40 into 35. So this becomes x square plus 40x minus 35x minus 1400 is equal to 0, or this becomes x plus 40 into x minus 35 is equal to 0. So what do we eventually have? Either we have the value of x is equal to minus 40 or the value of x is equal to plus 35. Since x is a number of patients in A, it has to be a positive number, and therefore the value of x will be 35, and this is going to be our final answer. So again, you see, it was not a difficult question. The only thing that was troubling in this question was the calculation involved. But the application was as simple as averages. In none of these questions we have used any shortcuts. At the same time, there is no scope to use the shortcuts. We'll see the certain questions where we use a deviation approach and use shortcuts in the coming questions. Now, let's look at this question. I'm told that the average weight of the students in a class increases by 600 grams when some new students join the class. So do I know the existing number of students? I do not know. Let me assume the existing number of students are n and the average is A. So n into A becomes the sum total, plus some x students have joined the class, and I'm told that the average weight of these x students is 3 more than the average weight of original students. That means the average here becomes A plus 3. So existing sum total plus new sum total, clear, divided by n plus x is equal to the average of the class increases by 600 grams. Now 600 grams becomes 0.6 kgs. So if we simplify, what do we get here? We get NA plus AX plus 3x is equal to, when we cross multiply, again we get NA plus 0.6n plus AX plus 0.6x. Clear? So NA and AX will get cancelled on both the sides. So eventually when we transpose, we get 2.4x is equal to 0.6n, or we have n by x is equal to 2.4 by 0.6. So the only conclusion we can derive is existing number of students to new number of students, the ratio is 4:1, and that is what the question is asking you. Find the ratio of the original students to the new number of students, and therefore the answer becomes 4:1. Now this is again a basic question. You don't need any shortcut, but yes, we can do this with the help of the shortcut. How do we understand this? Let's understand the deviation approach once again. Yeah, let's understand the deviation approach here. I'm erasing this part. Now let me assume that each student has an average of A. And there are n students. Now x students joined with A plus 3, and so on with A plus 3. There are x students who joined. So can I say that the excess data or the deviation is nothing but 3 kgs into x students? Now how is this divided? This is divided in such a manner that at the end of the game, everybody has A plus 0.6, including these x students. That means this is divided in such a way that 0.6 is given to each of the n plus x students. So you can always target the excess data, that equal distribution of the deviation approach, and get your answer. So in a simplified manner, we get 3x is equal to 0.6n plus 0.6x, or we get 2.4x is equal to 0.6n, or we get n by x is equal to 2.4 by 0.6, which eventually is going to be 4:1. And this becomes the final answer of n is to x, and that gives the answer in the easiest possible manner. So only if I'm aware of the excess data, like I'm told that everybody has 600 grams more and these guys are bringing 3 more than the average, so that is helping me to get the excess data. If you're using the excess data concept or the equal distribution concept, then the job becomes pretty easy for us to calculate. Now let's get one more question here. The average height of 22 toddlers increases by 2 inches when 2 of them leave the group. Okay. So what do I have here? I have 22 people. Let's say the average was A. When 2 of them left, that means 20 people are left. Then the average becomes A plus 2. Okay. Now if the average height of these 2 toddlers was 1/3 of the average height of the original 2 toddlers. Now 1/3 of A. So let me assume this value as 3A, because 1 by 3 of 3A becomes easier to calculate, and this part I will assume this as 3A plus 2 is a new average. And now what am I told? The 2 people who left, their average was 1/3 of 3A, that is A. So can I say that sum total of 22 students minus sum total of 2 students will be equal to sum total of 20 students? So number of terms into the average is here minus number of terms into the average is here, which will be equal to number of terms into the average. So what do we have? 66 minus 2, which will give you 64A is equal to 60A plus 40, or we get 4A is equal to 40, or we get the value of A is equal to 10. Now what is the question asking us? Find the average height of the remaining 20 toddlers. The height of the remaining 20 toddlers is 3A plus 2, and therefore my answer here becomes 3 into 10 plus 2, which will eventually be 32 as the average of these toddlers, and therefore the answer becomes option C. Now can this be done with the deviation concept? Yes. Let's try to understand. Erasing this part of guys. Yep. So what am I told? I'm told that 3A was the average, 3A and 3A. Now these 2 people are leaving, but they are not 3A and 3A, but they were only A and A. So what happened? They left 2A and 2A to be distributed. That means this 4A of excess data is distributed amongst these 20 people in such a way that each of them gets an increment of 2 inches. That means this 4A is equal to 20 into 2 is the excess data. So we get in one step that if 4A is equal to 40, that means the value of A is equal to 10. If the value of A is equal to 10, 3A plus 2 is the average of remaining 20 people, and that is going to be 30 plus 2, and therefore the average of remaining 20 people is going to be 32 should be your final answer. Clear guys? Let's move to the next question here. Again, excess data becomes very easy for us to solve. Okay. Now, in a football tournament, a player had played certain number of matches. Let's say n number of matches. 10 more matches are yet to be played. Okay, so he has to play 10 more matches. If he scores a total of 1 goal over the next 10 matches, the average will become the average of n plus 10. Okay. The average of n plus 10 will become 0.15. Similarly, if he scores 2 goals over the next 10 matches, the average will become 0.2. So, what can we do this here? You look at the sum total here. So, I know that sum total of n matches plus the sum total of 10 matches is equal to sum total of n plus 10 matches. So, sum total is number of terms into average, plus in the first case he is scoring 1 goal, Sum total of n plus 10 matches becomes n plus 10 into 0.15. Clear, that is what we have here. Clear, right? So similarly, in the second case, NA is the sum total. If he scores 2 goals, then in n plus 10 matches, his average will become 0.2. Now let's calculate this. Minus, 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 and a minus. So this gets cancelled. Let's do 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. 0.2n minus 0.15n, that is equal to 0.05n. And this is 2 minus 0.15 will give you 2 minus 1.5 will give you 0.5. So effectively what do we have here? So we have 0.5 is equal to 0.05n, or we can conclude that the value of n is equal to 10. So how many matches has he played so far? The number of matches that he has played so far is equal to 10, and 10 becomes our final answer. So I'm showing you how can you solve with the basic sum total formula and get your final answer. Now, can this be done by deviation approach? Yes. So if you observe an increment of one goal, that means a deviation of one goal is divided in such a way that the average increases by 0.05 over n plus 1 matches. Sorry, n plus 10 matches. So if I simplify this, 1 is equal to 0.05 n plus 0.5, or we have 0.5 is equal to 0.05 n, or we get the value of n is equal to 10 directly in one shot if we are doing by the excess data approach or the deviation approach. So again, a very simple question to look at it, guys. You can easily get the answers with the help of the basic funda also. If you're not so comfortable with the deviation approach, I would say leave it, but do not leave a question on averages in the examination. Right? Now let's move to the next question here. Now Ramesh and Gautam are among the 22 students who wrote the examination. Okay. Ramesh scores 82.5. So I have 20 students. I have Ramesh, I have Gautam. Clear? Right? And the average score of 21 students other than Gautam is given to us, average of 22 students. So I'm not given the average of these 10 students. Let me assume average of these 10 students is A. Clear? So the sum total of 22 students. Sum total of 22 students can be written as 20A plus Ramesh. Now what is Ramesh? Ramesh is 82.5 plus Gautam. This is the first information I have. Now the average score of 21 students other than Gautam. That means I have S22 minus Gautam, which is equal to 62. Clear? Now what is S22 minus Gautam? So S22 minus Gautam, or in short, I want 21 students including Ramesh only, right? So this is nothing but sum of 21 students, which is nothing but 21 into 62. So 62 into 20 is 1240 plus 62, which will give us 1302. This is sum of 21 students including Ramesh or excluding Gautam. Clear? Now the average of 22 students. Okay. So let's write the equation here. So average of 22 students is one more than the average of 21 students except Ramesh. Okay. So what is the average of 22 students? Average of 22 students will become so let's try to understand. Okay. So average of 22 students will become 20A plus 82.5 plus Gautam by 22 is equal to average of 21 students will be sum total of 20 students plus Gautam divided by 21 plus 1. Now that means I want the sum total of 20 students. Can I get sum total of 20 students? Yes, let's see this. Now sum total of 21 students including Ramesh is equal to 1302. What is sum total of 21 including Ramesh? That is equal to 20A plus 82.5 is equal to 1302, or sum total of 20 students, that is 20A, which will be equal to 1302 minus 82.5. So 1302 minus 2 will give you 1300, minus 80 will give you 1220, minus 0.5, which will give you 1219.5. So if I replace here, all I need is 1219.5 plus 82.5 plus Gautam by 22 is equal to 1219.5 plus Gautam plus 21 divided by 21. So if you want the basic approach, this is the basic approach in which you can get the answer. Slightly complicated to calculate, but we will be able to get our answer. Right? I'm not getting into the calculation of this, because when the calculations become such complicated, let's try to understand, can we do this in a slightly different manner? Let's understand. Okay? I can use equal distribution approach. When can I use equal distribution approach? Where I'm told that average of 22 students is average of 21 students plus 1, or average of 21 students is equal to average of 22 minus 1. So what can I conclude? Can I say when Ramesh is excluded, then the average of the group drops down by 1. Now let's try to understand. Let's say all of them are A. These are my 21 and this is Ramesh. If I exclude this, after excluding this, the scenario is A minus 1, A minus 1 and so on, A minus 1. That means this guy has taken 1 from each of the remaining students. That means the score of Ramesh becomes existing average plus 21, which I am told is equal to 82.5, which means I can conclude that the value of average is equal to 61.5. And this is the average of 22 people. Clear? So I have the average of 22 people, so I can say the sum total of 22 people. So sum total of 22 people will be equal to 22 into 61.5. And if you observe, the average score of 21 students other than Gautam is equal to 62 given to us. Clear? Right? And then the average of, so the rest all is given to us completely here, right? So therefore, if I have sum total of 22, which is including Gautam also, right? So this minus Gautam will be equal to this average of 21 students, which is equal to 62. Clear? So if you observe, I can write this as 2 into 61.5 into 11 minus 21 into 62 is equal to the value of G. Now 2 into 61.5 is 123 into 11 minus 1302 is equal to the value of G. So this becomes 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 1 plus 2 is 3, and this becomes 1. 1353 minus 1302 is equal to the value of Gautam, or eventually we get the value of Gautam is equal to 51, and that becomes the final answer. So again, a beautiful question which you could have solved the basic approach, but trust me, that calculation is a little weird, where you are forced to use the calculator, or the best way to do this is use an equal distribution approach and get your final answer there. Right? Now let's look at this question. I'm told that a class consists of 20 boys and 30 girls. Okay. So I have 20 boys and I have 30 girls. So I'm already told that the number of students. In the mid-semester examination, so average of mid-semester examination of the girls was 5 more than the boys. So if boys is equal to A, then the girls become A plus 5. Now let's look at the overall average. So the overall average becomes 20A plus 30A plus 150 divided by 20 plus 30, which is equal to 50A plus 150 divided by 50, and this we can write it as 50 into A plus 3 divided by 50. So again 50-50 gets cancelled. That means the overall average is equal to A plus 3. Why did we calculate this? Because in the final exam, the average of girls dropped by 3 while the average score of the entire class dropped by 2. So that means average of final examinations. Now the girls dropped by 3. That means the girls became A plus 2. Overall class increased by 2. That means the overall class average became A plus 5. Okay? This is total. So let me write this total is equal to 50 here. And I'm asked the average increase in the score of guys. Let me assume that the increase in the score of guys was K. Now let's apply the formula. So this becomes 20 into A plus K plus we have 30 into A plus 2 divided by 20 plus 30 is equal to 50, which is equal to A plus 5. Or when we calculate, we get 20A plus 20K plus 30A plus 60 is equal to 50A plus 250. 20 plus 30 is equal to 50, which gets cancelled, or we get 20K is equal to 190, or we get the value of K is equal to 190 by 20, that is equal to 9.5. So therefore, the value of K is equal to 9.5, and that becomes the increase in the average of boys, and therefore the increase in the average of boys is eventually going to be 9.5. Okay guys, now can I do this with the help of deviation approach? Of course, yes. We can use the deviation approach here and get the final answer. Let's erase this part off. Now let's understand what is happening. Boys are X, 20 boys. Now girls are X plus 5. How many girls? 30 girls. So where is the deviation coming? The deviation is, or excess data. Excess data is 5 into 30, that is equal to 150. This is to be divided amongst all the 50 students, that becomes 3. Therefore, the new average, or the average of the class, okay, is equal to X plus 3. Dividing everybody equally, the average of the class became X plus 3. Clear? Now what is happening? The average of the overall class increased by 2. That means, let's say average, okay. So the new average of final exam became X plus 5. Now what is the scene now? The scene looks like this. So I have X plus K, and so on, X plus K. These are 20 boys. That means there's a deviation of 20K. And I have X plus 2, and so on. I have 30 girls. That means the deviation of 2 into 30, which is equal to X plus 5. That means the deviation of 5 into 50. So we get 20K is equal to 60 plus 250. 20K plus 60 is equal to 250. Or we have 20K is equal to 190, or the value of K is equal to 9.5. Therefore, this becomes the final answer. So deviation coming from boys plus deviation coming from girls is equal to the overall deviation. If I'm assuming everybody to be X, K is the deviation from boys, so 20K. 2 is the deviation from girls, 2 into 30. And 5 is the deviation overall, that is 5 into 50. And if you look at deviation of boys plus deviation of girls is equal to overall deviation, that will give you the final answer. Clear? Now let's look at this question here. In an examination, the average marks of the students in section A and section B was 32 and 60. Okay. And now I'm told that the number of students in section A is 10 less than the number of students in section B. If the average marks of all the students across both the sections combined is an integer, then find the difference between the maximum and minimum possible value of students in section A. Trust me, this is a very lovely question, because this question was a combination of integer applied in number system and averages. Okay. Now I'm asked maximum and minimum possible of A. So let me assume that the number of students in A was X. So B will be 10 more than A. the average of A is equal to 32 and the average of B is equal to 60. Clear? So combined average of both the classes. Combined average of both the classes will be 32x plus 60x plus 600 divided by 2x plus 10. Now this should be an integer. How do I solve these kind of questions? Let's try to understand. So this becomes 92x plus 600 divided by 2x plus 10. It's a standard question of CAT. We should know the logic. So logic is, I first try to bring a constant. So if I need to bring a constant, let me write 46 into 2x plus 10, because 46 into 2 will give me 92x. I have to cancel x from there. So 46 into 2x plus 10 divided by 2x plus 10. This is 460. That means I have 140 divided by 2x plus 10. So what do we have here? So we simplify this as 46 plus 140 divided by 2x plus 10, because this 2x plus 10 and this 2x plus 10 will cancel, which means if this value has to be an integer, 2x plus 10 should be a factor of 140. And do not forget, I want to maximize x. That means I want to maximize the value of 2x plus 10 also. So what is the largest factor of 140? Largest factor of 140 is 140. So max is equal to 2x plus 10 is equal to 140, or you get 2x is equal to 130, or we get x is equal to 65. So the maximum students of A is equal to 65. Now minimum, let's write all the factors of 140. So this is 1 into 140, this is 2 into 70, this is 3 into 3 doesn't go, this is 5 into 28, 28 right? Yeah, 28, and this is 7 into 20, and this is 10 into 14. So if you observe, if these are the values of 2x plus 10, from this value I have to subtract 10. So this will give me a negative value, 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 this will give me 0. So if I take this as the value, x will be minimized. So I take 2x plus 10 is equal to 14, or we get 2x is equal to 4, or we get the value of x is equal to 2. So the minimum value of number of students in A is equal to 2, and eventually we are looking at 65 minus 2. So 65 minus 2, our final answer is going to be 63, and that is going to be the difference between the maximum and minimum number of possible students of section A. So learn this method of integer solutions, because this is very applicable in almost all the exams, and this is very handy to get the answers. Are there different methods? Yes, but trust me, I find this as the simplified method. Only thing we have to learn is how to calculate integer solutions. Now let's look at this question. I'm told that in an apartment, the number of students, the number of people aged 51 years and above is 30. Okay, and at most 39 people are of the ages below 51 years of age. Okay. So always remember, if I allocate averages, I have A1, A2 and AM. When we use allegations, when averages are given, we can always use allegations. And this should be the ratio of N1 is to N2. We can always apply this whenever we are looking at these kind of questions. So I have greater than or equal to 51, the number of people are 30, and less than 51, the number of people are at most 39. Okay. The average of all the people in the compartment is equal to 38. Then find the largest possible average of the people who are below 51. Right. Now let's understand. If I want the maximum possible average of below 51, that means I want to minimize the average age of people greater than or equal to 51. So the minimum value will become 51. I do not know this. The combined average is 38. We allocate this. So this will give me 13. This will give me average minus x. And this should be equal to ratio of number of people. This is 30. Sorry. Yeah, this is 30. And I do not know this. Now should I take 39? Let's assume 39 here. So if 13 parts is equal to 39, so let's say this part is equal to k. Okay. So what will happen to this? So 38 minus x into k should be equal to 30, or you have 38 minus x should be equal to 30 by k, or the value of x is equal to 38 minus 30 by k, and I need to maximize the value of x. If I want to maximize the value of x, I need to minimize this value. If I need to minimize the fraction, remember, if I need to minimize the fraction can be only minimized when you maximize the denominator, because 30 is constant, right? So if I take 39 or less than or equal to 39, that means the value of k is less than or equal to 3. 13 into 3 is equal to 39 or less than or equal to 3. And I want to maximize the value of k, that means I take the maximum value of k is equal to 3. So we get the value of x is equal to 38 minus 30 by 3. 30 by 3 is equal to 10. 38 minus 10, and therefore the maximum possible value of average of people below 51 will be 28. So again, a beautiful question to understand the logic here. We can always use allocations approach when averages is given and the number of people are given, or the reverse approach like in this question, right? And use this concept to get the final answer. Right, so now let's look at the last question of averages here, guys. A group of 10 students, the mean of the lowest 9 scores is equal to 42. So I have A1 plus A2 plus A3. Let's say there are total till A10. So we have A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4, so on till A9 is equal to 42 into 9. And for the highest 9, so that becomes A2 plus A3, so on till A9 plus A10 is equal to 47 into 9. So what do we observe? We observe that these 9 are common. So let's subtract both of them. If I subtract both of them, all these will get cancelled. So what do we have here? We have A10 minus A1 is equal to 42 minus 47 minus 42 is 5 into 9. Or we can write A10 is equal to 45 plus A1. So I can rewrite this as A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, A9, and we write A1 plus 45. Now I want the maximum and minimum possible mean of the entire 10 students. Clear? Right? Now let's take the first case. If the average of the 9 lowest score is 42, clear? Let me assume each of them to be 42, because this sum total will become maximum. Understand? A10 will be equal to, sum of 10 will be equal to sum of 9 plus A10. I want to maximize A10. If I want to maximize A10, I know that A10 is equal to A1 plus 45. That means I need to maximize 45. So the maximum value of A1 according to the first equation will be 42. Because if A1 is the lowest and I want to maximize A1, I assume all of them are equal. So this part becomes 42 plus 45. So what is the average of 10 students? So average of 10 students can be written as 42 plus 45 by 10, which is equal to 42 plus 4.5, which is equal to 46.5. Now if I want to minimize, I need to minimize the value of A10. If I want to minimize the value of A10, the minimum value of A10 will be 47. So if I assume everybody is 47, 47, 47, 47, because if A10 is the maximum and I want to minimize the value of A10, then all of them will be equal, then A10 will be minimized, right? So therefore this value becomes 2. Now 2 can be written as 47 minus 45. So 47 is across, so I can say the average is 47 minus this 45 I am dividing among 10 students. So the minimum, this is max